It's really important to transplant your succulents into a fresh container and fresh soil whenever you buy really any plant from a greenhouse, just for plant hygiene purposes. But there's some other times when you should really be transplanting, like if your plant has so outgrown the container that it can't stand up, like this Echeveria, or if it is so root bound that you're really seeing more roots than soil, like on this Haworthia, then it might be time for a bigger pot when you transplant. I also find that I tend to transplant every couple years because I don't fertilize. So that's a chance for me to use fresh soil and get some fresh nutrients to my plants. And whenever you're transplanting, you definitely want to have a well-draining pot and soil on hand. So that's going to really look different depending on your growing conditions and what type of succulent you're transplanting. So today I'm just using coconut coir, because that happens to be the right mix for our very unique greenhouse situation here. But it's probably not the right soil mix for you. They definitely sell a lot of great bagged cactus and succulent mixes that can be good for the really thin-leafed varieties or the ones that have thin string-like stems. But for most succulents, you're going to want to take that bagged mix and mix it with an equal volume of mineral grit, like coarse sand or pumice or perlite. And then there's a couple very xeric varieties, like the chunky leaved misstems, like lithops or any cactus. And they're going to want something even grittier, like Bonsai Jack's gritty mix. And that's definitely an oversimplification of succulent soil. So if you want more dirty details on that one, we have a whole video that'll be linked on our YouTube channel. But specifically today, I want to go over how to transplant. And you can be a little bit, I don't want to say rough, but we do want to loosen up these roots a bit here, just to let them know that they're going to have more space. They don't need to stay in this small little 2-inch pot size that they used to have. And additionally, in clearing out the old soil, I'm making room for new soil, new nutrients in its fresh pot. So I'm just kind of loosening the roots a little bit, giving it a little squeeze. You can try shaking, seeing if anything comes out. And this is a good time to be checking for pests like root mealy. You can also learn a lot about your succulent from its roots. If it's getting overwatered, you might start seeing some black, slimy, squishy roots. If it has no roots left, that would cue you into why it's not taking in water. So lots of things to observe while you have your plant unpotted. And if you do see any signs of pests, you can have some isopropyl alcohol on hand and give it a little spray while it's a little bit easier to get into all of those crevices. So now I've got it sort of shaken out and loosened up the roots, and I've got my well-draining pot, and I find it's easiest to kind of hold the plant suspended in there. And I really like using this tool. It's in our succulent toolkit that we sell online. You could for sure use your hands, but I don't know, I find this is faster and then has like a nice spout for getting in between a pot and the root ball right there. You can push it down. We do want the soil to be settled in there so it's nice and snug. So I'm going to go around to this side and add soil in there. And you can see this pot is not drastically bigger than the last one. Succulents are pretty happy to be a little bit root bound. They actually don't mind it. And also if you up pot into an excessively large pot, a larger pot can hold more water, and so it's going to stay wet longer and it's going to increase your chance of rot. So I have only increased by like an inch, maybe 1.25 inches even in diameter on pot here. So it's not the biggest pot in the world. And I'm giving it a really firm base of support, really pressing in pretty firmly there. Because I'm not going to water this in. And the reason for that is that this process, you inevitably get these micro tears in the roots. And while those tears are open, they can be an access point for rot. So it's really important to let those dry and callus before you water your plant. So instead of watering it in, I'm pressing in the soil. And I'm not going to water this, you know, you could go a couple days, you could go for a week. Ultimately, you're not going to need to water until the plant shows you that it needs water. So that means the soil's completely dry, the leaves start to feel a little more flexible, and then you can drench it. And so now that I have my nicely repotted plant, I can put it back where it was already growing. Or if this is something that, say, I just ordered online and had shipped to me, then I would want to gradually reacclimate it to sunlight. So over the course of 1 to 2 weeks, I'm going to be moving it into a little bit more and more sunlight until it ultimately gets into whatever full sun, part sun location it's going to live in. And that's it. So you can find more soil information on our website, as well as some fun top dressings to finish off your transplanted succulent arrangement.